Good morning, it's Marisa from the Urban Cottage Educational Collaborative. I wanted to come on and talk to everyone today because I feel like there's so many questions right now about just schedules. All of our kids have come home. We're wondering, what is a day supposed to look like? How does this work? How is our family going to function? And these are really big questions. And I don't have the answers to all of them, but one of the things that I thought I could talk to you about was kind of a schedule versus a rhythm. And what's the difference, you might ask? In our culture, we're really used to living with our entire days completely grounded, and as a foundation is our Google Calendar. In fact, my husband and I normally have a shared one so we can in real time see what we have so we don't over plan ourselves. And I think that in that chaos, we've kind of lost what about a rhythm? And everybody has a rhythm, but we don't really live like that anymore. We used to, but we don't now. And because we live in an age of productivity, it's allowed us to have a really good economy, and it's allowed us to be able to be very productive, and that's good. But when things begin to slow down, as they've had in the last couple of days, we begin to wonder, what do we do? How does our calendar fit into this? Because we've never had something like this before. We've never known what it's like to not live with next week completely planned out, to not have dinners and functions that are planned months in advance. I have no idea what I'm doing next week, maybe not even tomorrow. And so with things evolving this fast, what is it that we do with our kids? They're home, they're here with us, and so how do we help them to thrive? And one of the ways I like to propose is that instead of focusing so much on a schedule, the thing where we micromanage everything, and it's more like an Excel sheet, I'd like to propose that maybe we look at it more like a flow chart. So how do we do this? Well, there's a really helpful book that I read a couple of years ago. It's called 7 Times the Sun. And in this book, the author argues that there's some segments of time that our days are made up of. It's like morning times, work times, play times, meal time, bedtime, and quiet times. And so in these different segments of time, how is it that we function in those times? And instead of setting up our days where from 8 to 8:10 we do this, and until 9 o'clock we do this, and then at 9 to 15, and we normally have it all scheduled out like that Excel sheet that I referenced earlier. But what if we looked at it more like that flow chart? And so instead we kind of put some segments in there. The morning time, maybe a little bit of meal time, and then we begin to flow. Maybe the morning time took us 10 minutes one morning. Maybe it took us an hour. That's okay, because every day looks different. I feel different every day. My kids feel different every day. Our day functions differently every single day. So I can't predict that. So we work more with like a flow, a daily flow. So in that flow, how that functions for my family is that we have a time that has to be honored in the morning. It's at 9:30. At 9:30 is when our school begins. But in that time that we have to honor, we really like a slow morning. We like a quiet morning. My kids function better that way. They like slowly waking up. They don't like to be hurried and rushed. They don't like to have this, and this all laid out with a chore chart that everything has to look so structured. They don't thrive like that. And I don't thrive enforcing it like that. And so what is it that my family does? And hopefully by sharing this, it'll be helpful to you. So in our mornings, we take our morning time, and what that looks like is as they come out. I'm usually making coffee, and we say our good mornings. They get a hug. I ask them how they slept. I usually use a pretty hushed voice. I often light candles in the mornings. And as I light that candle, I think about what we have in the day ahead of us. We talk just a little bit. We talk about how they slept the night before and how they're feeling today. And then they quietly go back to their rooms and they read for 10, maybe 20 minutes, sometimes 30 if they're really struggling with getting up. And so they read, and that's how they like to start their day. So they read, and then we all kind of join back together. I finish getting ready, doing the things that I do in the morning. And my kids eat. I usually have set something out the night before, even in the morning, if I didn't get to the night before. Something healthy, nutritious, but simple. I'm not a big breakfast maker. I don't like to start my morning with a chef's breakfast. Some people do, that's how they thrive, and that works for them. And in your routine and in your rhythm, if that's what you do, you should do that, because every rhythm has to be unique to the family culture in which it resides. And so for our family, breakfasts aren't complicated, they're pretty simple. And so I usually lay something out the night before or that morning, and then the kids go ahead and eat. They begin their day slowly, and then they go after that. They clean up their bowls or their plates, and then they head to their rooms, they make their bed, they get dressed, and they do the brushing of teeth and things that they're supposed to do. But then we begin by 9:30. But there's not really anything that's like a certain time that everything has to be done, that everything has a schedule, it's laid out. It's more or less just, it flows. And so for us, that's how mornings work best. And so I hope that this is helpful to you and that you're able to take this time and think about what it is that your family needs. How does your family function? And how can you create rhythms within those meal times? The morning time, bedtime, quiet time, work time, playtime. How are you able to take those segments of time and really work through that? How are you able to see your family function? And then that evolves. Maybe something shows you that it's not really working. Change it. It's okay. You can change it. We're flexible. And so change that. And from there, see how it goes. And then be willing to change it again and tweak it just little bit by little bit. I think our families will thrive this way. And I think that our kids will feel the reality of us being together and us learning more about each other. I think in all, that part of this is really good. And so as you wonder what that looks like, if this is still really confusing and you need some help on how to be able to create a successful learning environment for your family, a successful place for you to be able to work together, if you need help creating rhythms and day kind of rhythms and places for your whole family to function as a whole, just contact us. Let us know. How can we help you? And we hope that you'll stay tuned for a lot more videos as we come out with hopeful topics. Be sure you let me know. Is there something that you'd like for me to talk about? Is there a topic that you're really wondering about? How can I help and serve your family? Let us know. We'll see what we can come up with. I might not have the answers, but we're in it together. We'll figure this out. I hope you have a beautiful day, and I look forward to hearing from you at the Urban Cottage Educational Collaborative.